Welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins and the hidden treasures in your pocket. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that's not only historical but has also become legendary among collectors. We're talking about the 1965 Washington quarter. This isn't just any quarter. While millions of these coins were made for everyday use, one rare example reportedly sold for an incredible $1.8 million. Yes, that's right, a simple quarter turned into a fortune. But before we get into the million-dollar story, let's talk about the history of this coin and why 1965 was such a big year in American coinage. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. This design stayed consistent for decades, but the materials used to make the coin would go through a dramatic change. Now here's where things get interesting. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to the rising price of silver in the early 1960s and a growing shortage of coins in circulation, the U.S. Mint made the critical decision. Starting in 1965, quarters would no longer contain silver. Instead, they would be made of a clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. It was a major turning point in American coinage, marking the end of the silver era for circulating quarters. Because of this shift, the 1965 quarter is significant. It was the very first year that quarters were minted using the copper-nickel clad composition. Over 1.8 billion 1965 quarters were produced. That's an enormous number. And most of these coins today are only worth face value or a little more if they're in uncirculated condition. But there's always a twist in the world of numismatics. Here's where the value starts to climb. During the transition period from silver to clad coins, a few mistakes were made as the mint. Some 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver plan case from 1964. These rare silver 1965 quarters are incredibly valuable, especially if they're authenticated and in high grade. One of these era coins, in pristine condition, has reportedly sold for as much as $1.8 million at a private auction. While sales of that size are extremely rare and not always publicly verified, they reflect how serious collectors will pay top dollar for a combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. So how do you know if you have one of these ultra-rare silver 1965 quarters? The first clue is the weight. A regular clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs around 6.25 grams. A small difference, but a crucial one. If you suspect you have a silver 1965 quarter, you can weigh it on a precision scale. You can also check the edge of the coin. A clad quarter shows a copper-colored stripe along the edge. A silver quarter will have a solid silver edge with no copper showing. If your 1965 quarter feels heavier, has a solid silver edge, or looks different from the rest, it might be worth a closer inspection. And if you think you've found something special, the best step is to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade a coin, and help you understand its true market value. Of course, not every 1965 quarter is going to be a $1 million find. Most are only worth their face value or slightly more. But the possibility is real, and the thrill of searching, learning, and discovering is what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby. So the next time you're sorting through your change or checking your coin jar, keep an eye out for the 1965 Washington quarter. That ordinary-looking coin might be anything but ordinary. It might just be your ticket to a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare quarters, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn something valuably, literally and historically. Stay curious, keep looking, and remember, treasure is often hiding in plain sight. Let me know if you'd like a shorter version, a casual style, or additional facts and visuals to go with the script. Welcome back to the channel, where coins come to life and history meets hidden treasure. If you've ever looked at a quarter and thought, it's just 25 cents, think rarest coins today, we're taking a closer look at the 1995 Washington quarter, a coin you might have in your pocket or coin jar right now, and one that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Some collectors and enthusiasts are buzzing about certain rare specimens of this coin reportedly fetching jaw-dropping amounts, even up to $1.2 million in rare cases. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter has been a part of American life since 1932. It was originally designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The designer, John Flanagan, created a portrait of Washington based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, and that design would become a permanent fixture in American pockets for the next several decades. Fast forward to 1995. This was a transitional period in American coinage, just a few years before the launch of the popular 50-state quarters program. The 1995 quarters were still bearing the classic eagle reverse design, with a strong, proud eagle perched on arrows and surrounded by olive branches as symbols of both strength and peace. The 1995 quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, and over 1.1 billion of them were produced that year. That's billion with a B. So what makes one of those coins possibly worth over $1 million? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and error varieties. Most 1995 quarters are worth just face value, maybe a few dollars if they're in brilliant uncirculated condition. But certain error coins and extremely high-grade specimens can change everything. In the world of numismatics, perfection is rare. When a coin is struck in near-perfect condition, certified as MS68 or higher by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, its value increases exponentially. There are very few 1995 quarters that have ever achieved such high grades. Now let's talk about the kind of coin that could be worth 6 or even 7 figures. We're talking about a combination of extreme rarity, pristine condition, and sometimes a dramatic mint error. For example, off-center strikes, double dies, or a coin struck on the wrong plankett. A coin like that combined with top-tier grading and a perfect storm of collector demand could drive the price into the stratosphere. Rumors and reports have circulated among collectors about a 1995 Washington quarter that may have sold for as much as $1.2 million. While not all details of the sale are public or confirmed through major auction houses, it highlights the excitement and mystery that surrounds coin collecting. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. So what should you be looking for in your own 1995 quarters? First, check the condition. Coins with little to no wear, strong luster, and no visible scratches stand a better chance of being valuable. Next, look for errors. These might include doubling on the date or lettering, misaligned dies, or off-metal strikes. If you think you've found something unusual, consider sending it to a professional grading service. Remember, not every coin is a jackpot, but knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better your chances of spotting a valuable coin when you see one. So next time you come across a 1995 Washington quarter, don't just toss it into a vending machine. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a small piece of historia or $1 million treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into rare coins, surprising values, and American coin history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Who knows, your next big find could be closer than you think. Stay curious, and keep collecting. Let me know if you'd like a version tailored for a short, a more casual tone, or translated into another language. Welcome back to the channel, where everyday coins turn into extraordinary stories and unexpected treasures. Today we're taking a closer look at the 1996 Washington quarter, a coin you might think is just another piece of change. But what if I told you that one of these coins has reportedly sold for as much as $1.3 million? That's right, $1.30 worth of quarters could make you a millionaire if you've got the right one. Let's get into the story behind this incredible rarest coins. The Washington quarter has a long and proud history. First minted in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, It was only supposed to be a one-year commemorative coin, but it became so popular that it was added to regular circulation. The original design by John Flanagan features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse and, until 1998, an eagle on the reverse symbolizing strength and readiness. By 1996, the Washington quarter was a well-established part of American life. But what made this year special? Well, it was the final stretch before the U.S. Mint would launch the wildly popular 50-state quarters program in 1999. So, 1996 quarters still carried the classic eagle reverse, and they were struck at two major mints for circulation of Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia mint is identified by the small letter P on the front of the coin just to the right of Washington's ponytail. In 1996, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 925 million Washington quarters. That's a massive number. And on the surface, that makes this coin seem common. But not all 1,996p quarters are created equal. Among those millions, a few rare examples have stood out, as some due to extraordinary condition, and others because of rare and unusual mint errors. Now, let's talk about what makes a 1,996p Washington quarter worth big money. The average 1,996p quarter is worth only its face value. If it's uncirculated or in brilliant condition, it might fetch a few dollars. But for serious collectors, the most valuable coins are those with rare errors or those that have been preserved in near-perfect condition. Coins graded MS68 or higher, mint state 68 or better, are extremely hard to find. These are coins that have never been in circulation, show no signs of wear, and display sharp details and brilliant luster. A 1,996p quarter in this kind of condition, especially certified by PCGS or NGC, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But here's where the story gets really exciting. Reports have surfaced about a rare 1,996p quarter that sold in a private auction for as much as $1.3 million. Now, you might ask, how could a coin that was minted by the millions be worth that kind of money? The answer lies in the possibility of a unique error or one-of-a-kind specimen as something that makes that particular coin a true outlier. Some collectors believe that this high-value quarter was struck on an experimental plan kit or had a dramatic minting error that slipped through quality control. Others say it was simply a perfect coin, flawless in every way and the only one of its kind in that condition. While the details of the transaction haven't been made public through a major auction house, the story continues to circulate through the numismatic community, adding to the coin's legend and mystery. So what should you be looking for in your own 1,996p quarters? First, examine the condition. If it looks unusually sharp or has never been touched, you might want to have it graded. Second, check for errors. Look for things like doubling on the lettering, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal. These errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. And finally, trust your instincts. If something about your quarter looks different, maybe it feels heavier, the edges look unusual, or the design seems distorted, it's worth investigating. Weigh it, compare it, and when in doubt, send it to a professional for authentication and grading. Most of us handle coins every day without giving them a second thought. But as we've seen time and again, a single coin can carry not just history, but also life-changing value. The 1,996p Washington quarter might seem ordinary, but among them could be a masterpiece hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you're as fascinated by rare coins and hidden treasures as we are, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a discovery. You never know, the next time you check your change, you might just be holding your own $1 million coin. Until next time, stay curious, keep searching, and remember, great finds often start with small change. Let me know if you'd like a version with visuals, timestamps, or formatted for a YouTube short. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where coins are more than just spare change, they're windows into history, and sometimes hidden fortunes. Today we're unlocking the story behind the 1,979D Washington quarter. At first glance, It might seem like just another quarter you've seen 100 times. But what if I told you that one of these coins reportedly sold for an astonishing $1.4 million? Yes, a coin worth 25 cents suddenly turned into a fortune. So how is that even possible? Let's rewind and explore the story behind this incredible coin. The Washington quarter has been a part of American coinage since 1932. Originally designed to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, the coin was supposed to be a one-year commemorative issue, but it became so popular that it was kept in circulation permanently. The original design, by John Flanagan, features a strong and dignified portrait of Washington on the front, and the reverse shows a majestic bald eagle with its wings spread, clutching a bundle of arrows above olive branch as symbols of both strength and peace. Now, fast forward to 1979. This was a time when the U.S. Mint was pushing forward with modernized minting technology. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mark on the front of the coin next to the date, produced over 489 million Washington quarters that year. That's nearly 500 million coins, so it's easy to assume they're all common and not worth much more than face value. But here's where the story takes a twist. Among those hundreds of millions of coins, a small number stand out because of their pristine condition, unique minting errors, or rare characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, one exceptional 1979D quarter reportedly sold for as much as $1.4 million in a private collector sale. So what makes a quarter like that worth over $1 million? There are three key factors that can turn a regular coin into a highly valuable collectible condition: rarity and uniqueness. First, condition. A coin in perfect mint state graded MS68 or higher by professional grading services is exceptionally rare. Most coins enter circulation and get scratched, worn, and damaged over time. But a coin that has been preserved perfectly, without even the tiniest flaw, becomes a rare gem in the eyes of collectors. Second, rarity. While the 1979D quarter isn't rare in terms of mintage, what's rare is finding one with an unusual error or struck on the wrong metal plancate. These mistakes sometimes happen when leftover plancase from other coin types are mistakenly used during the minting process. Imagine a quarter struck on a Susan B. Anthony dollar plancate or a foreign metal blank. That type of error instantly turns an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind piece. And third, uniqueness. If a coin has both extreme rarity and is in flawless condition, it becomes a trophy coin, something collectors will pay astronomical sums to own. That's exactly what makes the $1.4 million story so fascinating. It wasn't just any 1979D quarter. It was a coin that represented perfection, history, and mystery all in one. So how can you tell if your 1979D quarter is valuable? Start with the basics. Flip the coin and check its condition. Is it shiny, well preserved, with sharp details and no visible wear? Then weigh it. A standard 1979 quarter made of copper nickel should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs more or feels different in your hand, it might be struck on the wrong plancate. Next, examine the edges. Are there signs of doubling? Is the rim unusually thick or misaligned? Any of these signs could indicate a mint error that increases the value. If you think you've found something special, the next step is to have it professionally graded and authenticated. Reputable services like PCGS and NGC will certify your coin and assign it a grade, which can have a huge impact on its market value. Even if your 1979D quarter isn't worth millions, it could still be worth more than face value. Some uncirculated coins can sell for anywhere from $10 to $100 depending on their grade. And that's the fun of coin collecting. You never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. So the next time you're sifting through your change or looking through a forgotten coin jar, take a closer look at your quarters. You might just be holding history in your hands, and who knows, maybe even your ticket to $1 million discovery. Thanks for watching. If you love learning about rare coins, valuable finds, and the stories behind everyday money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell, because here, we believe that small change can lead to big surprises. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the value of what's right in front of you. Let me know if you'd like an edited version for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or for visual storytelling with suggested graphics and transitions. Welcome back to the channel where pocket change turns into treasure and every coin tells the rarest coins. Today, we're exploring one of the most talked about quarters from modern American history. It's the 1995p Washington quarter. Now at first glance, it might seem like an ordinary coin, one you'd use to pay for parking or grab a snack from a vending machine. But hold on, some collectors are claiming that one rare 1995p quarter sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a single quarter. So how is that even possible? Let's break it down. First, let's take a step back and understand the history of the Washington quarter. It all began in 1932, when the U.S. Mint released a quarter to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It featured a strong profile of Washington on the front, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. On the back, the image of a bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches underneath, symbolized both strength and peace. This classic design remained mostly unchanged for decades. The 1995 quarter still carried that iconic look of Washington's portrait on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. But what makes the 1995p different? Let's start with the basics. The letter P under the date means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1995, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion Washington quarters. To be exact, over 1.1 billion coins were struck that year. So, naturally, most 1995p quarters are common. You could find one in your pocket change right now, and it would be worth just 25 cents. But among those billion coins, there are a few that stand out, and that's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, a coin's value depends on three big factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's talk about condition first. A coin in near-perfect condition, one that has never been used or handled, can be worth far more than face value. These are called mint state coins, and they're graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS65 or higher is considered excellent, and anything graded MS68 or MS69 is extremely rare. A perfect MS70 is almost unheard of. Now imagine finding a 1995p quarter graded at the very top of the scale. It's spotless, no scratches, no wear, just a flawless, shiny coin that looks like it was struck yesterday. That's the kind of condition collectors dream about, and in such a high grade, the value can skyrocket. But it doesn't stop there. What really sends a coin's value through the roof are errors, and the 1995p quarter is known to have a few. The most famous type of mint error is called a double die. This happens when the design is impressed on the coin more than once during the minting process, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If you spot doubling on the date or the word Liberty, you might be holding a highly valuable error coin. There are also other rare possibilities, such as quarters struck on the wrong type of metal plankett. Imagine a quarter that was accidentally struck on a nickel plankett, or even on a foreign coin blank. That kind of mistake makes the coin instantly rare and extremely valuable. So, how did a 1995p Washington quarter supposedly sell for $1.5 million? According to numismatic insiders, this particular coin combined several factors. It was in flawless condition, graded at the very top tier. It also featured a highly unusual and dramatic mint error, possibly a double die or an off-metal strike. And most importantly, it was one of a kind. In the collecting world, that uniqueness creates a frenzy. When serious collectors and investors compete for the same rare piece, the price can go sky high. While this million-dollar sale wasn't made public through a major auction house, private deals between collectors are not uncommon, and when a coin this rare shows up, it can break all the rules. So what can you do if you have a 1995p quarter? Start by examining it closely. Look for signs of doubling on the lettering or date. Check the edges, feel the weight. If something looks or feels unusual, it's worth taking to a professional. A digital scale, a magnifying glass, and a little patience can go a long way. And if you believe you've found something truly special, send your coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify if it's authentic, assign it a grade, and help you unlock its true value. Most 1,995p quarters are just regular coins, but history has shown us that once in a while, one coin rises above the rest, and when it does, it reminds us why collecting is so exciting. Behind every quarter, there's a story, and sometimes, that story is worth over $1 million. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more stories of rare coins, valuable finds, and the treasures hiding in plain sight. Until next time, keep looking, keep learning, and remember, the next great discovery might just be in your pocket. Let me know if you want this formatted for YouTube Shorts, with thumbnail text suggestions, or adopted into a podcast-style version.